welcome back to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. Today in our ASEAN breakfast call, we will discuss on a topic that is kind of like pertinent to society, but usually would be underreported. And this is regarding
on rape.
Yeah,
That's our topic for this morning.
rape. Did she really ask for it?
Yeah, did she ask for it?
Yeah.
That's the full title.
So today in our Blast from the Grassroots, we want to really sort of understand the issue of rape and why rape happen in certain cultures and why people assume rape is rape and why certain things is why certain aspect is not rape. And we also want to know whether she really asked for it. Or actually,
Well, I already disagree on that part, but let's go there later.
let's define what is rape. What is rape actually?
Okay, here I have rape is actually a type of sexual assault, usually involving sexual intercourse or other forms of sexual penetration initiated against one or more individuals without the consent of the other. And this act is usually carried out by physical force, coercion, abuse of authority, or against a person who is incapable of valid consent, such as someone who is unconscious or below the legal age of consent in the first place.
I see. So, how to consider rape is rape?
It's interesting because over here it said that usually involving sexual intercourse or other forms of sexual penetration, but then if the term penetration comes in, then it focuses solely on women. So does that mean that men don't get raped?
Yeah, that's true also. I mean, rape can be for men and also for women. There's another thing that we would explore further.
Because
But
I think that since they said it's any action that is done by physical force, by coercion, so I think that it's actually something that could happen to anybody at all. But of course, our focus for this morning is women.
yeah, it's women. But well, I mean, we do want to focus on men as well. Especially, I think in certain situations, such as in the prison, usually men are more prone to rape than women,
That's
and
right.
there's a reason for it. I mean, a lot of people justify that rape is inevitable because men have their own desire and they cannot control their own desire. But I sort of disagree with that. I don't know about you.
Okay.
I think you might disagree as well. I think there's a power structure playing on when it comes to rape. It's not just about sex. It's more than just sex.
Yeah, definitely. Like what they also mentioned here, that it can also be to assert certain authority over the person. Like, okay, I'm of this position, and therefore I am allowed to do this to you, and you have to just accept it and be quiet about it, as opposed to just for the sake of sexual pleasure.
Yeah, that's true. So, what is societal perception on rape? Let's focus on globally first. What are the global focus? When it comes to rape, for me, when it comes to rape, I think globally it is divided. Some culture that is more liberal, they would definitely view rape as something that is unacceptable. But some culture that is more conservative, rape is not even part of their language. For example, I can quote an example in Islam where there's not even a verse talking about rape. And whereas, not just like rape in general, but even in terms of marriage, husband raping wives, also it is never stated in the Quran. So rape, it is still something of a taboo topic, when it comes to societal perception, especially in more conservative society.
That's right. I think a lot more than taboo. It's actually viewed as something embarrassing, something shameful, which is fine, which is true. When something like that happens, it's only normal for a girl to feel shameful, to feel embarrassed, to feel filthy even. But I think we haven't quite gotten to that part where we have to realize that when someone violates your right to that extent, you have to do something about it, and you cannot just be quiet about it, thinking it's just gonna go away and be okay. Because it's not just about you. I think we talked about it before. Like, if you don't want to report it, personally, it's fine. But if you don't report him, he's gonna do it to other people.
Yeah, it could be that way as well. But you know, when it comes to the victim of rape, there's a lot of psychological implication towards the victim itself. For example, I mean, the reason why we are talking about rape is because there's not so many highlights on the issue regarding on the minor 15-year-old girl that was being raped by 38 men in Kelantan, which is supposedly to be a more religious state compared to other states in Malaysia. And this is a shocking, not just to Malaysia, but globally as well. Interestingly, that topic was reported in major global news outlets. And this is, to me personally, is shocking globally as well. And some of the woman is a minor. So go back to the topic of rape. I mean, is mostly underreported, and most of the burden is being pushed to the victim herself. In fact, she was reluctant to report until a few days later when she have to admit to the hospital because of major bleeding happening on her.
That's right. I mean,
on her body.
She's only a little girl, and 38 men. I cannot even imagine how harsh that must have been on her, or how she must have felt at that time. So going back to our topic, which is, did she ask for it? What do you think? What do you think about that? How does a girl ask for it? I really don't get that concept.
I don't get that concept either, but I think it is the burden of the woman. Like today, it was not today, it was yesterday. I was scrolling in my Facebook as usual, and I saw this one post which is quite interesting.
Right.
It stated that sexual harassment against men, and it shows women in very scantily, not really that scantily looking dresses. So it's like trying to say that you're harassing men by wearing sexy dresses or sexy outfit, or even non-sexy, but to some culture it might be deemed sexy.
But actually, I think it goes back to how women are viewed in the eyes of men, or even in society itself. That historically, hundreds of years ago, of course, women were nothing. They were just used for sexual pleasure, and they're supposed to make their men happy. And I think that could be one of the reasons why we still, like, that idea is still carried forward up until now to the 21st century, and the people don't realize that we're just being us, when we dress a certain way, we're just dressing up for ourselves. We're not asking for anyone to come up to you and start touching you or anything.
I think in a way it's trying to put the blame to the woman that says, it's sort of saying that, if you get raped by wearing sexy dresses, you are asking for it.
How is that asking for it?
That's the irony part. Like, you are sexually harassing men's eyes by being visible.
I think I saw this one quote on Facebook as well that said, it's quite famous. It's you raped her because her dress provoked you. Well, I should break your face because your stupidity provokes me. And I couldn't agree more with that, because just because someone is dressed a certain way, that doesn't give you any right to go up to that girl and force yourself onto her. I don't know what kind of a twisted logic is that, but it definitely doesn't make sense to me. And I think it shouldn't make sense to a lot of people, because I do have friends who actually think that way, and they
think as if you mean accepted that it is sexual harassing to men for wearing sexy outfits.
So sometimes they would actually tell their other friends, like, why you dress like that? Don't you know that it's dangerous, and it could attract the wrong kind of men and all that. I guess it could be true to a certain way. You don't want to dress you don't want to show off too much as well.
But then it's also showing that your morality is in your appearance.
Exactly.
But in reality, morality shouldn't be part of your appearance. It should be part of your inner self, meaning that the way you conduct yourself, the way you view other people, the way you view yourself. It's not about, if you wear in a cloth that if you wear in a cloth that is pious, that means you are a pious person. But I don't think outfits should
I think that's the general
person.
misconception in our country, especially that people always judged by the way they dress, you know. Especially being an Indian myself, I can tell you, well, when someone is dressed all covered and all, and people will be like, "Oh, look at that girl! She's dressed so well. She must have been raised by in a really good, respected family." Whereas if someone wear a lot of shorts and tank tops, like, "Oh, how did her parents raise her? Like, she must be like an immoral person, like a slut or something." And I think there's a very twisted way of viewing things, because we know that appearance is very deceiving, and whatever that you're projecting on the outside could not be who you are on the inside as well.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't reflect who you are on the inside. I mean, the interesting part of, I mean, let's focus on Malaysia on that rape case happened in Kelantan. After that issue happened, interestingly, not many people were actually outraged about it. Instead, I mean, because at the same time, the issue of Cadbury and pig DNA was also, you know, hot on the news, and and it got angered so many Muslims, to the extent that Muslim groups were asking, like, "Oh, we want to sue the Cadbury company for, you know, dirtying our blood, and we want to cleanse our blood, you know, to change our blood into something much more better." And due to that, there's an industry suddenly emerged, not really an industry, but like businesses suddenly emerged saying that, "Oh, we can help you to change your blood into something, into someone else's blood, possibly, you know, ulama's blood or something like that," which is irony that the issue of rape, it went like, it just went silent. Like, not even a single Muslim organization were outraged about it. Not even women's only probably a couple liberal women's organization were outraged about it, but not like entirely. So this is something that is, I mean, to me personally, is really misplaced priority. Like, you put a lot of emphasis on things as like ridiculous as pork DNA, but then you just simply went silent and muted on issues as heavy as rape.
That's right. I think that is probably a question of misplaced priority, like I think we discussed earlier. And here I have actually an article about rape victims, how they are blamed. So it seems that they are usually blamed when they resist the attack later in the rape encounter rather than earlier, which seems to suggest that the stereotype that these women are engaging in token resistance or leading the man on because they have gone along with the sexual experience thus far. So I think this one, they're talking more about just flirting with a guy and kind of leading him on and then resisting his sexual advances later on. And finally, rape victims are also blamed when they are raped by an acquaintance or a date rather than by a stranger.
I see. Why do you think rape happens? I mean, why do you think men rape women?
I wish I had the answer to that question, but
is there like a power structure or power hierarchy going on? I mean, for example, I think some men feels that they are entitled.
Actually, I think this is very much related to our next section, which is about sexual repression.
Yeah, it is.
I think sexual repression probably plays the major factor. It is probably the biggest factor in rape cases because I'm guessing if you do have like a girlfriend, you have a happy marriage, and you love your wife, love your girlfriend, you guys have a healthy sexual relationship, there is no reason why you would go out and force yourself on someone. So I think this goes back to sexual repression. Maybe that person doesn't deem himself attractive. Maybe it's hard for him to get women, or maybe he's just one of those people who don't know how to approach women and doesn't know how to say foster a relationship and go through all that courting thing. So this is like a shortcut for them to just
by raping a woman.
Yeah.
They are too lazy to go through the stages of dating and understanding.
That is my opinion. Yeah.
I mean, that's true also. But at the same time, I mean, to me, the larger picture here is power. Like the power, the structure where rape is usually seen as something taboo and something that is sort of allowed in a way, and put the blame is mostly on the woman. It's mostly in a patriarchal society where the man is at the highest rank of the the system, while woman is at the bottom, and woman is seen as property in a way that they are property of men's, either property of your brother, your father, or your husband or your boyfriends. In a way, if you don't protect yourself, even though you are being raped, you are being blamed for the rape. Because you don't protect yourself in the first place. You don't take care of your own, what do you call it? Marwah?
Yeah, your own dignity.
Your own dignity.
I think that goes back to the honor killing topic that we had,
The honor
because
killing.
a lot of these victims of honor killings, as we all know, are also victims of rape, where these girls are actually blamed for getting raped. So it goes back to why were you dressed like that, or why were you going out with this guy so late at night, why were you flirting with him. I think flirting is a very natural part of being human, actually. I mean,
men flirts as well.
well, I think it's something very natural, when
It
a
is very
guy and a
natural.
girl are hanging out together. Well, I know it's your friends, but it's very natural that, especially if you find the other one attractive, it's natural to just slip into that flirting mode. And
But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think men have uncontrollable desires and sexual drive?
I think both men and women would have uncontrollable sexual desires. It's just that maybe a woman is not strong enough to go pin a guy down and get what she wants, maybe.
So you mean there would be a case where women rape the men as well?
Actually, I think I have read such cases. There was one case, I cannot remember from where, but it's about this guy who was gay, and he was not very, not very big and strong or anything. So this one girl had a crush on him, and then she asked him to actually have sex with her, and he refused, saying, "I only like men." And then she said, "Well, I'll make you change your mind." And then she actually kind of forced them, I guess, into having sex, and that is a form of rape as well, because it happened without the consent of the guy. So
Talking about that, I think a lot of cases of men being raped is totally underreported. And the interesting part is, men being raped happens in all cultures, even in very religious and conservative cultures as well.
and also in very modern and civilized society,
Yeah.
because that's when they know what their rights are, they know how far they can go and all, and they kind of misuse that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, I mean, at one point you want to be civilized, you want to be ethical, you want to, stay clear or stay clean from the idea of sex. But at another point, human beings are sexual beings.
That's right.
I mean, we think, act, do, whatever we do, everything, even in terms of our childhood, is filled with sexual urges and the idea of sex itself. And I mean, even the idea of Freudian slip,
Yeah,
where we say something
that's right.
unintentionally, but it has another meaning, which usually would be like a more sexual meaning. It is translated of our inner thinking, inner thought as well. So in that sense, to me personally, I think we should understand ourselves better. I mean, having sex education is definitely one of the best way.
I think it's a very important point you just made, that we should get to know ourselves better, because I think a lot of people are very confused, and also they think it's weird to actually explore these things about themselves. They don't know what they want sexually. They don't know what they like, for instance, and that's why even a lot of marriages they don't
crumble.
Yeah, they crumble because these two people who are involved, they're not clear about what they want from the other person, and
they are not clear about the sexual needs of each other
exactly,
as well.
and they don't realize that that's actually quite an important factor. And we Malaysians are always denying that. It's just like, well, maybe things have changed now with the current generation. I don't know. I'm a bit old. With my group of friends, it's always like,
You're not old.
Okay.
But I mean, looking at the long term, I think having a very a stronger law to protect women is definitely a good point. But I think the long term would be education, especially sex education.
I agree with that.
Or
I don't
gender
think that we
education.
should focus on the law. I think that we should always go down to the root of the problem and educate the men on
Men and women, I think, in a way.
men and women, and we should make the men realize that it's not okay to just go and force yourself on someone, no matter what she's doing. If whether she's flirting with you, whether she's dressed provocatively, whether she's showing off a lot of skin, none of that gives you
You'll
any
be surprised
right.
that actually we don't really have a sexual harassment law, like
Okay.
a standalone sexual harassment law. Our sexual harassment law currently is very vague to the extent that it doesn't really protect women in a way. So, I mean, having a good law is definitely important, especially law that protects women in the workplace,
Right.
at home, and also in the public spheres. But on the long term, to me, when men and women understand who they are as a person and don't see each other as, oh, you are a man and I'm a woman, they
And
don't
therefore, I
they
have
don't-
the
yeah,
superiority over
they
you.
don't have that kind of power attachment towards their gender role. I think if then the world would be a better place.
Yeah,
I might be
I agree
idealistic
with
on
you.
this.
I agree with you. It is going to be hard to get there though, because people are still ignorant about it. I guess most people who lack the education or lack the awareness, especially in terms of gender equality. A lot of men still think that they have a certain superiority over women, and as long as they still think that way, it's gonna happen no matter what we do about it.
So to answer our question for today, our theme for today, did she ask for it? She definitely didn't ask for it.
She will never ask for it. No one walks around saying, "Come and rape me." So
So anyway, that's our discussion for today. I hope you enjoy it. Actually, we will have a longer discussion later on.
on sexual repression.
with our guest Ahmad Fuad Rahmat, and that would explore more on the idea of
Exactly, more
sexuality.
detailed.
Yeah, so stay tuned.